Welcome to the Mentor Podcast, where the most highly motivated entrepreneurs come to get their weekly dose of financial stability with host Ron LeGrand, as well as other nationally recognized thought leaders who will teach you how to get, grow, and protect your wealth.
Well, hello, everybody. Ron LeGrand back with another issue of the Mentor Podcast. And today I have with me Jay Connor. And he's going to help us on our mission, which is to make a lot more money, make it faster, keep more of it, and retire very rich. And he's very qualified because Jay and I have been working together now for, when did you come into Planet Ron, Jay? What year? I do not remember.
Oh, my lands. I came into your world in January of 2010. Excuse me, 2009, wow. 2009.
So you're a 10-year veteran now.
I am.
All right. And Jay's forte is actually two things. He is a master at raising private money, which is used to buy properties that he fixes and then sells. So, Jay, in your world, you are in the rehab business now because the market is so hot. And, well, you've always been in the rehab business, but in the past, your forte was to buy them and at least option them out and help the people get cashed out in a year or two.
That's right.
Today the market's so hot, you just kind of buy them and fix them like everybody else is doing and cash out of them. Is that about right?
Man, I tell you, it's just so hard to turn down the big checks when you're able to cash them out so fast. Our average profits now over the last 12 months is right around $65,000. And, as you say, the market is hot. The majority, now we do the pretty house business as well, but the majority of what we buy is taking some rehabs. Our average rehab is about $30,000 rehab cost in and of itself. Mm-hmm. But, we are cashing out due to the market, cashing out on most of them these days.
How many of them does it look like you're going to cash out of this year?
Well, right now we're tracking close to 30, so it's in the high 20s that we'll be cashing out. And thanks to you and coming into your world, in fact, I never even heard about private money until I came into your world back in 2009. And thanks to learning about it and putting my program on steroids and raising money quickly. In fact, when I left your Quick Start boot camp, the first 90 days after leaving Quick Start, I was able to raise $2.5 million in private money. And since that time, haven't missed out on a deal because I didn't have the funding for any kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what got you into this part of the business, because you find them and you pay cash for them using other people's money. And in fact, didn't we do a podcast on that?
We did. In fact, we did a podcast on your show shortly after you launched your podcast.
All right. So you guys, that's posted. You can go grab that one down if you are interested in Jay telling you how he gets money from human beings, not from institutions or fill out an application and credit is irrelevant. And that's what we do and what we've been doing for so many years now. I was just sitting here while you were talking, calculating what $65,000 average net profit times 30 deals is. And, geez, that's a lot of money, Jay.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Thanks to Ron LeGrand, that's a lot of money.
Well, in fact, I recall in your very first year of business, you netted over $1 million, didn't you?
I did. I went to Quick Start, went home and did what you told me to do, and didn't try to fix anything or change the programs or change the strategies. I still mail out yellow letters today to different types of lists, and went home in my first 12 months. We netted over $1 million in profit. And we've netted at least that amount every year since going to Quick Start as of now, over 10 and a half years ago.
Well, I suppose you should disclose to these folks that you are now teaching at Quick Start. You work with me at every single one of them. We do 12 of them a year. And your job is to teach people how to raise private money, but you also take people out on a bus and teach them what you learn. You take one, I take one, and nowadays we're actually meeting at the same house, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And I tell you what, we have a good time, too.
Yeah, we do. We get the benefit of both of us. And you got a lot of cool tricks you learned over the years that you tell our audiences. I'm going to come back to those. But you've been working this boot camp since, I don't know how long. How long have you been helping me with this boot camp?
You invited me to start working with you at the Quick Start Boot Camp in the fall of 2011.
So how many have you been to so far?
Well, next month, as of today, I will be at my 78th Quick Start Boot Camp.
Well, you're kind of a slow learner then, aren't you?
Yeah, it takes a while.
Okay. So just for kicks and grins, how many of these rehab deals have you actually done?
Yeah, I'm right at 400 right now.
400.
Since we started, of course, we've done more deals than that. But as far as the rehab deals go, 400. And like any business, I mean, the principles and concepts never change, but the nuances, such as what's hot right now when you're rehabbing, what helps sells, houses very, very quickly, that changes over time. But the principles and working with contractors and how you hold them accountable and how you find them and all that type of information and practices, all that remains pretty much the same.
Hasn't changed much at all. Market changes. Sometimes laws changes. Other than that, this business is pretty much done the way it was when I started in 1982. But you definitely have to keep up with the times. So,
sure.
In fact, you just adapted to the market here, I don't know, maybe a year ago, because I remember when you were doing nothing but buying them and lease option them.
I know it. Up until about a year, I guess maybe about a year and a half ago, like 80% of my sales were selling on lease option. But again, and I still do today. I mean, you heard me tell the story recently. I mean, I recently took a $64,000 non-refundable lease option deposit and sold that on rent to own. Took another one since you heard me tell that story of about $20,000. But so now it's just sort of flip-flopped. In today's market, I'm cashing out on about 80% and selling on rent to own about 20%.
Uh-huh. So we just adapt with the market. And the ones that you're selling, you're only doing that because they sell as fast as you can get them on the market and this hot market that we're in. So why not take advantage of that?
That's
do you
right.
list your properties when you sell them, or do you sell them your own?
Yeah, so I do that's a good question. I do simultaneous marketing, and I let the market tell me, who's going to get it first. So the agreement that I have with my realtors, and I do primarily all of my business with one realtor, but the agreement I have is when I list a property, I retain the right to market the property myself through, Facebook Marketplace or any other avenues we want to get the word out that we have this home available, with rent to own. And so if a multiple listing buyer shows up that's qualified and is giving me my full price offer, which you can pretty much get in this market, then they get it. They go into contract. But if a lease purchase buyer shows up with a large enough, deposit, actual legal term, option fee, non-refundable option fee, then I'll take that. So I'm happy either way.
Well, that's kind of smart, because if you get a deposit, I mean, I heard you say you got a $64,000 deposit, and that's your average profit. So why not take the deposit and keep the house until they do cash out, if they do? Because as well as I do, the majority of the time they don't even buy.
Well, what just amazes me, Ron? I just don't get it. This individual that recently gave us this $64,000 non-refundable lease option deposit, they pulled the money out of their retirement account, out of their IRA account, okay?
Yep.
And this person has been in the home 2 months. So it's 2 months ago that I took the money, right?
Yep.
And can you believe, well, you probably can, but can you believe that their first and their monthly rent is $1,850 a month, none of which is going towards any more down payment. I mean, that's just straight rent, right. $1,850. And can you believe their first 2 checks have bounced?
No kidding.
I'm going. I said to my acquisitionist the other day, I said, who in their right mind would give you $64,000 and they're on their way already to being evicted? But anyway,
Unbelievable. So when the first one bounced, did they actually make it good?
No, I mean, I got, we got the long story as to, I forgot my annual insurance for my car was going to be ACH draft, and therefore it didn't clear. But like you told us, if people don't follow through on their end of the agreement, and I mean, I even put them in credit repair, but if they don't follow on their agreement, then they'll move out and we'll go sell it again.
Do they know that you have the right to evict them right now?
Well, it's in the paperwork for sure.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean they know it. Okay, well, anyway, I know you're going to cut them some slack, but just the same, if they can't pay the rent, they can't stay, can they? $64,000 or not?
That's right. I had, speaking of our lease purchase sales, I had a gentleman call our office, and I happened to be here when he called. He called in, I guess maybe 45 days ago. A year ago, approximately, gave us a $25,000 non-refundable lease option deposit, and he called up and he said, Jay, I just want to let you know that unfortunately me and my wife are getting a divorce. Neither one of us can own the house on our own, and I know I can't get my money back, but just want to let you know I'm going to be out by the end of the month. And so, that's what happens, unfortunately, sometimes for folks.
Yep, that's a fact. Well, unfortunately for them, but hey, you honored your deal. They didn't honor their deal, so
absolutely.
They're going to forfeit. It's clearly disclosed with an attorney up front.
That's right.
All right. Well, listen, I got to get some business done here. Tell me, how do you go about finding the deals that you get now?
Oh, wow. Well, I know you're familiar with, most people aren't, but Carol Joy and I, my wife and I, we started putting together years ago my foreclosure system. So we have an 8-letter campaign, direct mail. Yeah, the post office, as you've reminded us, is still open. But we direct mail a sequential direct mail campaign to people that have been filed a notice of default. So these are not what's called pre-notices of default or pre-foreclosure. The actual foreclosure process has been started. And so about 25% of our business comes from these direct mail letters that we mail out.
Jay, we forgot to tell people where you live and how big your market is where you live.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I'm in a small market. I'm here in eastern North Carolina in a small town called Morehead City, North Carolina. Morehead City itself has only got a population of 8,000 people, but my total target market where we buy houses has got 40,000 people. So the moral of that story is you don't have to be in a big market to really make significant and big money.
No. And what price range houses on the average do you sell?
Yeah. So on the low end, the after repaired value is going to be around $150,000, and that's for your 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,400 square foot home. Mm-hmm. And then I'll typically top out at $300,000. It's really incredible. Up until, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago at the most, I really wasn't comfortable on moving houses really quickly here in my area if I was getting much above $200,000 or $225,000. But I've discovered now with the market just being so good and jobs are good and people are spending money like they're millionaires. And it's pretty easy, not as easy as it was in 2008, thank goodness, but it's pretty easy these days to get a mortgage as compared to a few years ago. So I'm moving houses in my area now. In fact, I got a house in Cape Carteret, North Carolina, just put it on the market 3 weeks ago, and by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's priced at $289,000. By 2 o'clock, had a full price offer, already pre-qualified. So, in answer to your question, $150 to $300.
Good. All right, so let's get back to how you find them.
Oh yeah,
and so 8-letter campaign for foreclosures.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you do?
Yeah, and I still do yellow letter campaigns consistently. My favorite lists are still absentee owners, and another one of my favorite lists are pre-NOD. So those are the people that are moving towards foreclosure that have not been filed yet. So they'll be either 2 or 3 months behind. And another list that I've recently started testing that I'm getting good results with, and that is code violations. So, if there's been a code violation filed at the local county of, say, the grass is growing up or they haven't cut their grass or, et cetera, having good success with that list. And then about a month ago, I finally, I've been working on it for a few months, I finally was able to start getting a list from the local power company, utility company, of people that's had their power turned off.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm getting good results with that new list as well.
So that means they're either in trouble or they're moving, huh? Or
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is both has got a potential motivating factor.
Yeah. So if you're tackling the code violations, are you getting into mostly low-end stuff?
Well, on the code violations, that is going to be definitely under $200,000 houses. You're not going to have your code violations on and we live here in a resort area, so you're not going to have the code violations with people that have got $300,000 houses or more. So yeah, that's more of your bread and butter price properties
or war zone stuff.
Yeah, well,
you don't have one. Yeah.
We live in such a small area, we don't even have a war zone.
Right. Yeah. A lot of folks don't, but a lot of folks do.
Right.
So I just want to make the point that so what? Even in war zones, if they got code violations, there's a really good chance that the seller is motivated. Yeah. And sometimes the properties are vacated, and it's a good way to find out which ones are and track them down, because you're not really looking for the pretty houses, you're looking for the ugly houses. But hey, they're great to wholesale, and or several other options. When I'm not going to take time to discuss on this call, but there's money in any part of the real estate market. So
that's right. And one more thing, Ron, if I can share with your audience, and that is the most leads that I get, the most consistent leads I get from motivated sellers is from the internet. And when I say the internet specifically, I'm talking either Facebook ads or, last year we started using Facebook Marketplace to advertise our homes that are for sale on rent to own. But what we're discovering is that we also put posts or notices in Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace that we buy houses, and we're getting sellers, people, individuals responding, and those are free. Facebook Marketplace is free and Facebook groups are free. So we're buying houses with free advertising right in Facebook Marketplace and groups.
Right. So in other words, you do sort of online marketing. You just do the free stuff. And you have your foreclosures, and you get some out of the MLS, don't you? A realtor brings you.
Yeah, I mean, not like I used to. No. But this year, it's small. We've probably done a half a dozen out of MLS. I just put in an offer. This morning. I put it in Friday, but of course they always come back in the MLS. Mm-hmm. Multiple offers, highest and best. Always the same game. So I told my realtor the same thing you tell your realtor, and that is, you got my highest and best. So we buy bank-owned out of the MLS some.
Yeah, and sometimes you get one auto auction as well, online auctions.
Yeah, auction.com. In fact, I told you about that deal a couple of months ago. And I'm signed up with auction.com, and so I get automatic emails in real time whenever one in our area comes up, so we make offers on those.
Okay. I just want to make the point here that literally you only do about 2.5 deals per month.
That's true.
And will net $2 million in the past year.
That's correct.
What is the difference between your thinking and the way most investors think, especially the new ones coming into this game that can't even fathom making 7 figures annually, much less $2 million?
Yeah.
It's all in the thinking, isn't it?
I sort of alluded to it when we started out, and that is when I came to you for the first time, I didn't try to overthink it. You already had the proven track record that you knew what you were doing. You weren't just a teacher, that wasn't doing the business. You had the track record. So I simply came back home, implemented what you taught at Quick Start. I think one thing that makes or made me different than perhaps some others, and that is I realized that until I get the lead machine turned on, meaning until I get consistent leads from motivated sellers responding to marketing that you taught us how to do, I really wasn't in business until that lead machine was turned on. I signed up for your mentoring program 10 years ago. In fact, you had just started with the mentoring program at the time. And I was required to submit 15 lead sheets a week, property lead sheets filled out that my marketing had brought in that you had taught us how to do. And I submitted those lead sheets every week, a minimum of 15, to my mentor to review, to go over and, help me structure deals. I mean, wonderful thing about the mentoring program is if I hadn't had my mentor with you, I was literally going to be throwing what I thought were dead leads in the trash can, and helping me with subject to deals and structure that. So what would I do different? I got the lead machine turned on using the marketing that you taught us, knowing that I must have that consistently coming in, not hit and miss, but consistent. So I took what you taught and I systematized it to where I didn't have to try to run this business from, the seat of my pants. Turn the lead machine on, keep the leads coming in, having my mentor help me structure the deals, and not trying to go and change stuff that you had already put in place. Just simply implement what we were taught to do.
Yep, because no leads, no deals, huh?
That's it. I mean, no leads coming in, we're out of business.
That's pretty much true in any business. You can't locate prospects, you don't have to worry about any other steps because you don't have anything to do.
That's right.
Nor will you make any money. So, all right, well, along the way, by the way, when you started, we didn't even really have much of systems. We created them, and we certainly didn't have virtual assistants to tap into.
That's for sure.
So, tell me, with the amount of money that you're making in this business, you must have a massive staff and a big office somewhere, don't you?
No, not really. So as far as our staff goes, I have a full-time office manager or bookkeeper, and that's not full-time for my buying and selling house business. That's also, she helps me with my other businesses as well. I do have a full-time acquisitionist that oversees all the leads coming in and negotiates with the motivated sellers. In fact, since I'm in town and since I need something to do, right, at 4 o'clock this afternoon, I'm going to meet the team out there and look at a house. But as far as virtual assistants go, we've got a part-time, what I call courthouse assistant. Her name's Contessa, and she's been with us for my lands, I guess, about 8 years. She goes to the courthouse twice a week and updates all the records of the foreclosure filings. But, that's $100 a week, right? So I've got a very, very small staff.
All right. How many altogether? I mean, actually on your payroll? Yeah,
on the payroll, I've got 1, 2, 3 and a half. 3.5 on my payroll. So, now that doesn't include the virtual assistants, that get, 1099s. But as far as on my payroll, 3.5 people.
And some of them are part-time.
Yes.
All right. So not a big staff, not a big overhead. In fact, your overhead is very, very minimal compared to some businesses out there, like my restaurant. It's very, very large.
Exactly.
So a lot of money, very small overhead, very small risk. And you don't guarantee debt, do you, Jay?
Never, never, never. I've that's one beautiful thing about doing business with private lenders. There's no personal guarantees, and it's the collateral, it's the real estate that's backing that note, not my personal assets.
Yep, that's a fact. All right, I want you to tell our audience a few things you do to these houses when you renovate them, maybe some hot tips that most people wouldn't think of.
Sure. So, as of now, when we're doing the podcast here today, the neutral colors that we use now are the lighter grays. So all of my trim in the houses is always white trim around the door facing, and et cetera. And you've heard me say this before, Ron, but one thing we love to do in the bathrooms is we use a large rainforest shower head. It can be either circle or it can be square. And we're also now on a home that's, if it's got if it's 225,000 or more, we're putting the glass, what's called barn doors, that's got two big rollers at the top. And then, that's your shower door. And yeah, I've spent as much as $900 on one of those doors. And I mean, people buy and get excited about what they can see.
Yes. I just want to make one point, Jay.
Hmm.
Your overhead shower.
Hmm.
I have never installed one in my entire life.
Right.
I never intend to, and I can't imagine why anybody would want one over their head. Anyway, but that's you. And I've never done a barn door sliding, whatever it was, tub shower thing. And I just want you to know I put two of them I just renovated on the market recently, and on Friday afternoon I had 8 offers and 2 contracts by Saturday at noon as well.
Nice.
So, okay, I'm going to let you go on about these things you do, but the audience to know you don't have to do this stuff.
That's right.
I think Jay has got a woman involved in this, and that's what she wants, so that's what he tells her to go ahead and do.
Yeah. Right? In fact, we actually use per project. We've got an interior designer, and no, you don't have to have an interior designer to do this business. But that's just one way I've chosen to automate the whole process. Yeah. I learned the hard way. Not to let my general contractors choose colors, choose flooring, and choose what people are going to look at. Right. So we brought in Beth, and she's been a woman.
Always a woman.
Yeah.
No man can do this. Must be a woman. Right?
I mean, she chooses everything from the exterior front door color to what flooring we're going to put down to the interior color paints to the granite that we're going to use, and we use remnant granite in our kitchens. I mean, I'm putting granite in everything because I can get it at such a good price, and it makes me stand out. We always put stainless steel appliances. No, you don't have to at the bread and butter level, but pretty much I can buy stainless steel appliances at Lowe's for just about the same price as I can the white ones. You know?
That's true. And that's where I get mine as well, and Lowe's delivers them to the site. By the way, we do not get countertops or carpet at Lowe's. Your prices are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can go down to Lowe's and pick out what you want, then call a carpet guy, and he'll come out and cut that price way down for you.
That's right.
Any other? I know we put 6-panel doors in, right?
Yeah, always interior 6-panel doors. They're only depending on where you buy them. I get mine at Lowe's. They're about $40 a piece. Now we most always change out all the doorknobs and the hinges, and they're not that expensive, but it makes everything pop. We'll always change out the floor vents. They're inexpensive, but it makes everything look brand new. In fact, when someone walks into one of our homes that we have completely rehabbed and finished, I want everything to look and smell brand new. One thing that we'll do sometimes as well that doesn't cost much money is we will put crown molding in the living room, and we may do a chair rail to sort of offset it. And another thing that we've really changed up in the last 2 or 3 years, even in the bread and butter houses, because we can buy this material at such a good price, I'm not putting carpet in the living rooms or living areas.
Me neither.
Most of the time, we're still putting carpet in the bedrooms. But, we're putting vinyl plank, which looks like real wood, real bamboo, in the living areas, down the hallways. And then we'll either continue that in the kitchen or we will tile the kitchen.
Yeah, me too. I do the exact same thing. In fact, I put wooden plank even in the bedrooms on the last 2 houses that we just sold, and they were $200,000 houses. Looks nice, and people can always put rugs on top of them.
Oh, my lands, and I love rugs. I tell you what, if I ever get out of this business, which I don't ever anticipate it, but I can have one whale of a yard sale with all that staging stuff.
So you still stage your houses, huh?
Yeah, you don't stage yours anymore, do you?
I haven't staged a house in years. In this market, you don't have time to even mess with it. Just sell them. Right? So your assignment is next house, I don't want you to stage it.
Okay, we'll do a test. All right.
We'll see how fast it goes.
There you go.
Do you realize that we're out of time already?
No, we just started.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I do want everybody to know that you and I are going to be teaming up to do one rehab boot camp at end of this year. Still looking for a place because it's going to be in your city. We're going to do it in Morehead City, North Carolina, or somewhere close.
That's right.
But I had a miserable time finding a hotel. So when we find a hotel, we got to move the dates to find a hotel. We'll let everybody know. So if you listen to this podcast, just stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to it now, or you won't get any notifications from us. And also, when you do subscribe, you're going to get a lot of other podcasts that you can drag down, and a lot of free stuff as well. Speaking of free stuff, go to thementorpodcast.com/J. thementorpodcast.com/J. And I'm going to give you my free book and some other free stuff on there. Jay, what are you going to give us today?
Yeah, well, I've got speaking of private money, I've got a free on-demand class that your audience can go to. It's waiting to attend for free. It's only about 50 minutes long. And on this class, this webinar, I will teach and reveal the 5 easy steps it is to find private money and get private money. So that website, to go check it out, is www.
Yeah, it's going to be on the Mentor podcast.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Yeah, the link will be right there.
Okay, so, perfect.
All of that. All right, so that again one more time. That's thementorpodcast.com/J.
Now, is that the letter J or J-A-Y, Ron?
J-A-Y. Thank you. J-A-Y. Okay,
perfect.
That's you.
That's me. That's right.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for contributing today, and look forward to see you very shortly at the next Quick Start School. And thank everybody else. I'll see you on the next Mentor podcast.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Catch you later.
That's all for this edition of the Mentor Podcast. To connect with Ron and learn how you can attain financial freedom, as well as up-to-date strategies to grow and protect your wealth based on today's discussion, go to www.connectwiththementor.com.